For some, tennis is just a sport. But to others, it's a metaphor for life. Nobody understands this better than Roger Crawford.
People often ask me, Roger, how do you hold on to the tennis racket? Well, I've carved out a space in this piece of wood that allows me to place my right finger in between that space, which holds it secure. So on my forehand, for example, I hold the racket against my right elbow with my left hand. I change the racket face by rolling the grip against my right elbow. So if I'm hitting my forehand or my backhand, same thing. Tony just spent hours with me, and you know, he never said that something wasn't possible.
I said, you get that ball over the net one more time than the next guy, you win.
Woo! After finishing his college tennis career with a 22-11 record, Roger eventually found his calling in life as a motivational speaker.
As you look at my life experience, you can see the challenges that I faced, but I may not be able to see yours. It was that experience on the tennis court that really changed how I saw myself. I learned that other areas of my life that I might have thought were impossible now would be possible. I didn't, of course, win every match, but when I walked out on the tennis court and I struck the first ball, I already won. That's how I felt. My youngest daughter is named Alexa. She was a student at High Point University. That's right. Which means that I no longer want to speak, I have to speak. Bill Cates knows what I'm talking about. Following graduation, she got a fantastic job with a corporation in Asheville, North Carolina, and after 3 months of employment, she hired her dad to speak at their company's national sales meeting. At NSA, we call that good parenting. Yeah, that's part of the curriculum in the youth program, how to book your parents. It's great. My precious daughter also booked me another time to speak. She was in the 3rd grade. She came to me and she said, Daddy, I want you to come and speak at my school during an assembly. I was so touched that my sweet little girl would want me to come and visit her school. But I experienced some anxiety. I thought to myself, what if she's embarrassed of me? What if the kids tease Alexa about her dad? I said, honey, do you realize that if I stand in front of all the boys and girls, they're going to know about your daddy's hands and about his legs? Honey, I want to make sure that you feel okay with that. Here's what she said. Daddy, you were born to be an inspirational speaker. Oh. Just touched my heart. She said, yeah, Daddy, you got a peace sign on one hand and a thumbs up on the other. My physical challenge affects me from the elbows down and from the knees down. I'll tell you the greatest challenge today in having 3 fingers and short arms. Selfies. I stretch out as far as I can. All I get, mugshots. That's it.
When you give motivational speeches, what is your message over and over again to people?
That there's a big difference in life between difficult and impossible. Just because something's hard doesn't mean that it can't be done. And the other message is real handicaps can be overcome. But it's the imaginary ones in life that really disable us. I mean, it's the ones from the neck up. So, as I mentioned, my life's not different than their life. We're all going to face adversity. And I just feel so fortunate to have found the game of tennis and now to be able to speak at various different audiences. It's a tremendous honor.
Oh boy, you're killing me. I want to be such a better person now because I met
Thank you,
Roger Crawford. Thank you so much.
That.
Thank you.
I was a football player and played defensive end. Now, for those of you that may not be familiar with the defensive end position, when the other team has the ball, you're trying to rush in, tackle the quarterback, or tackle the person with the ball. When I was growing up, my father was a very effective motivational speaker. Well, that wasn't his profession. He just spoke at home. Maybe you had a parent like this as well. And speeches tend to be very short and right to the point. Here was one of my dad's motivational speeches. Roger, you don't live in Pity City. That kind of summed it up right there. So my entire life, I grew up with the notion that my life wasn't different than another person's life. Everybody faced adversity. It just happened that mine was visible. But that I wasn't at a disadvantage. You see, I could be an athlete that happened to have a physical challenge, a speaker that happened to have a physical challenge, a writer that happened to have a physical challenge, not a physically challenged writer or a physically challenged speaker. So I got very involved in athletics. In one particular football game, I'll never forget, I got down into position. The quarterback on the other team went back to pass. And the play started to develop. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this young man on my team rush in and tackle the quarterback before I could get there. But when he grabbed a hold of the quarterback, he fumbled the football. The ball bounced into my arms and I started running. I had clarity of vision. I was heading to the end zone. And I started to run. So I'm at the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20. Now I'm at the 10-yard line. So I'm 10 yards away from the end zone. A young man on the other team catches up with me. He makes a valiant attempt to tackle me, and, well, I was fortunate that day. He grabbed a hold of my left leg. You really are sharp. You're so far ahead of me on this. My leg came right off. I hop into the end zone. You could have heard a pin drop. I mean, the opposing coach walks over to the ref. Hey, ref, what's the ruling on that? Ref's like, his knee didn't touch the ground. It's a touchdown. Of our family who's a world champion. In fact, I have a picture of her. If we could bring that up, please. World champion and considered the greatest in her sport. She's a skeet shooter. She shot many years ago, still holds many, many world records. It's my mother-in-law. Just go ahead and take a look at that picture for a second. Mother-in-law. World champion. I asked her one day, yeah, you can take that picture down, makes me a little bit nervous, especially when I'm not facing her. So I asked her, how do you become a world champion? And she said, practice when you want to. I thought that's good because I can practice when I want to. Then she said, practice when you don't want to. She said, because when you make that commitment of practicing when you don't want to, you'll always be ready when you call for your target. Which I think is a great lead into the third question. Where are you going? Now, certainly nobody can predict the future, but leaders prepare for the future. They have clarity with regard to their vision. They understand they're going to find what it takes today because they see hope and possibility tomorrow. But as we look into the future individually and organizationally, it's certainly bright with tremendous clarity. Once we can embrace that and wrap our heart around it, we can navigate the obstacles and overcome the circumstances. Do you know why? As I see it, my friends, when we have clarity, leaders understand that their desire is going to be